episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Chickenpox Heinz.
Ooh, don't touch me! I don't want to get sick and be home alone. 3.
International North Korean terrorists will try to get me.
Were they North Korean?
They were.
They were.
Oh, God.
They were working for the North Koreans.
You guys, I totally watched this movie, I swear.
It was like a North Korean guy with a Japanese
They have
name and a
weird
Chinese
accents.
actor or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, but they're all like fake Russians.
Right.
Anyway, we're good.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We are here talking about Home Alone 3 from 1997, the third Home Alone film, if
Correct.
you couldn't tell from the title.
Yes.
For all you confused people out there, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
didn't
thought
know
it
there were
ended
any
here.
behind two.
I knew that there was the third, and it was like a shitty, like, made-for-TV grab. But when you guys told me that there was a 4 and 5, I still don't know if I believe you.
Well,
Yeah,
this
people who we don't even know on Facebook are arguing about whether or not the 4th and 5th
Yeah.
one even exists.
There was one guy that was like-
some lady was like, I need the 5th one. And some dude was like, no, there was no 5th one. And I was like, I
He was
hate to
like,
break
"No,
it to you,
there's only
bro.
4."
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to correct him. I want him to listen to the podcast. But I was like, here's the link. Sorry.
like maybe you would want there to only be 4, but I'm sorry.
the lady,
there's 5.
the lady really wanted to buy it. So I was like, I got to provide her with a link.
Yeah, well, talking with people about this franchise, most of them are like, oh, I knew there were 3, but, I didn't know there was any more after that. And I think that's maybe because this one was also released in theaters. And the other ones, I don't believe were. Yeah. And you know what? When things are released in theaters, there's always a lovely theatrical trailer to view.
A team of international high-class thieves have crossed 2 continents to steal a $10 million microchip.
If that goes in a missile, air defenses can't stop it.
They've traced it to a quiet Chicago suburb.
There are 14 houses.
Their only mistake
We're going to have to search them all.
is being in the same neighborhood as Alex Pruitt.
911 emergency.
I saw a burglar. 3015 Washington Street.
Abort.
Evacuate the area.
Whoa.
Take the other side.
Freeze!
Son, false alarms are no joking matter.
It wasn't a false alarm. There was a guy in the house. He had 2 lookouts and a driver in a gray van.
You're always like, what is he doing?
I'm always like, oh yeah, we have to tie this into something.
Yeah, so that was the trailer. Maybe I'll cut this out. I don't know. That was the trailer for Home Alone 3, y'all. Y'all. Right?
Do they say that in the trailer?
That's how everyone talks in California. I'm kidding.
California.
Yeah, so this movie has, you'll notice from the trailer and the sound of it that there is a crucial element missing.
What are you saying? John Williams?
Well,
Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin, yeah.
The only returning character is Chicago in this movie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Christmas is not even in this movie.
Well, there's Christmas things in the on the screen, but
Yeah, but they said that apparently it's in January. Like there's some Christmas stuff left over, but it takes place in January.
that's very strange.
Yeah.
So this movie starts out like I think we get like maybe 10 seconds of the John Williams score before it turns
Yeah.
into some other terrible music.
They could only afford to get like literally one piece of the soundtrack.
The
in the
composer
credits.
is Nick Glennie Smith for this one, and I don't really
And
know
there's
him.
a lot of licensed music in this.
He's
movie as
he's
well.
basically a Hans Zimmer assistant workhorse who has basically probably done a ton of stuff on most of Hans Zimmer's scores. Yeah, and a few things himself.
So, we're talking about how John Williams isn't back, Macaulay Culkin isn't back, but one thing that I was shocked to see is that John Hughes is back as the writer.
Yeah.
And Scooby-Doo's own Raja Gosnell is directing this one. I forgot to mention actually that he edited the first 2 movies.
He did.
Oh, wow.
I meant to mention that during the last 2 episodes.
That
but
makes sense. This man has had a prolific career that does not make sense to me.
yeah, well, I mean, all the movies
he
are...
most recently put out Show Dogs, a movie that teaches kids it's okay to be molested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That movie had to be recalled and re-edited to put out.
Yes,
right?
in case you don't know what I'm referring to. Yeah, there was like a really disturbing joke about like grooming of molestation victims.
Right. It was. I believe it was it's a concept of the movie is dogs can talk, and there was a dog who was not being touched in the proper way.
Well, no, I mean, I guess in dog shows they actually do like fondle the dog's genitals for some reason.
You want to know if it's thoroughbred, I guess.
I guess, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So,
I don't know anything about
whatever.
dog shows.
Anyways, that was in poor taste, and so is this movie. The existence of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, did John Hughes really write this?
So,
Come on.
So here's what if the Wikipedia is to be believed, that originally 2 and 3 were supposed to be done at the same time.
Sure.
And that there were scripts for both of them. Mm-hmm. And originally when it started, there was supposed to be Macaulay Culkin still, and it was supposed to be Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
Okay.
So when the script for Home Alone 3 existed, it had those elements.
But it was still this script or this story skeleton?
It was still, I don't know what the original elements were.
Okay.
But if you look at...
Harry and Marv are international assassins. They failed their way to the top of the criminal ladder.
to North Korea. So basically what you look at when you look at John Hughes' filmography at this point, this is kind of the last thing. And so what I think it was just on the shelves and the studio had control and he was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then after this, he does start using a pseudonym.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I think also I read somewhere that this was like the last picture of a 5-picture contractual deal that he had to do with Fox. And so it was like the 2 Home Alones, Baby's Day Out, which P.S. is amazing.
Which I didn't realize was John Hughes.
Me neither. And I saw this today and I was like, Baby's Day Out! I wish that had a sequel so that we could do that. Anyway, and then I guess the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, and then maybe he was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me just get this piece of crap off the shelf.
He's like, I'm doing Disney movies now.
Yeah, I guess.
They probably were just like, let's throw the dice on Home Alone 3. I mean, the other ones made a lot of money. Maybe people want more. Who knows? Let's try it.
There seems to be an element of him not giving a fuck anymore.
There is no elements from the other 2 films in here, except that someone is at home by themselves.
There's one element. He can trick people with audio from either a telephone or a bird.
Yeah, but it's just not done as well.
It's not, but that is the only carryover, is that like kids can use audio.
We've talked a lot in a lot of our sequels about how sometimes when the creatives are like, you know what people liked in that last one? Let's add more of it. But then it's totally misguided and wrong. They're like, two crooks, let's make 4 crooks, like, oh, there was a tarantula in that movie, now we're gonna have a bird and a rat or whatever. It's like, oh god,
one guy got electrocuted, why don't we have 2 people get electrocuted at the same time?
Oh god.
Yeah, this movie, believe it or not, starts off in Hong Kong.
Even though it's something with North Korea.
It does.
In 1997, was it already like North Korea was a punchline by then? I don't even remember.
I don't know if it was.
I mean, it wasn't a punch. No, it was a serious threat. It wasn't a punchline.
Oh, okay. So not like now.
Like when did
we're
Team
like,
America
we're all gonna die anyway. North Korea, Trump, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman. Like that's how we are now. But
no, we were still movie villains were still in 1996. We were like, it was the Berlin Wall had come down, like 7 years before. And so we were like, wait, we can't just make the Russians bad guys? Like, so now everyone's just kind of vaguely Eastern European. Like, Gary Oldman has that accent in
but
Air Force
actually,
One.
like, just for hire, and it's some other power.
It's like they're still those bad guys, but like now they're going somewhere else. So like it's that vein of like trying to find like, 'cause, like every movie wants Nazis to be bad guys, which I wish that was as universally bad as it used to be.
It's weird. Like, I felt like this movie made like some things less convoluted, but then like other things even more convoluted. So like the reason that these four criminal dudes are going after this kid is
there's one lady. This is the first one with a lady.
Alice Ribbons.
Yeah.
Criminal
Ladies can
people.
be bad too.
Ooh, so evil.
Equal opportunity criminal activity.
Well, the reason that these bad people are going after this kid is so ridiculous. Like they put they hide a computer chip in some car.
So yeah, they steal microchips and then hide them in an RC car, and then a old spinster woman gets the bags mixed up.
Yeah, she just wanted bread.
Yeah, from San Francisco.
And she even makes the joke later on.
Yeah,
when she I left my bread in San Francisco.
That was like actually a turning point for me while watching the movie. I was actually like my brain melted when she said that.
So the reason that they're after this kid is super convoluted. But then like I think that this movie has the most realistic reasoning for a kid to be home alone as any of the movies so far. They're like, we don't need to come up with a crazy reason for kids to be home alone. Parents leave their kids at home all the fucking time.
That's true, but then it was also kind of sad because it was just like they're just crappier parents because they knowingly just left their kid alone, whereas at least the other people did it on accident. It was worse.
They're not.
But it was accident.
I don't know if they're crappy. They're just overworked trying to keep their hoity-toity lives together.
Yeah, well, and it's like
in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, and
they live in a gigantic house, and she was like, "You're making me choose between a house payment and my son's health or whatever." It's like, no, you're not.
I don't appreciate this, Steve.
Why don't you just sell the trampoline or something and get a couple $100 to hire a babysitter? Like,
how many people have an in-ground pool in Illinois?
No one.
They have a dumbwaiter.
Yeah, that's true. The dumbwaiter comes out of nowhere. I was like, why does this house have a dumbwaiter?
They never like foreshadowed the dumbwaiter or anything. It just shows up in like the fourth act.
And the house isn't even that old. To like that, it's like it was like, oh, it was there when we got it. It's like they put in a fucking dumbwaiter.
We're gonna have a wait staff, so we need a dumbwaiter to.
Where's the dad during all of this?
He keeps leaving to go on mysterious business trips.
Yeah,
yeah, and he keeps missing his flights all the time,
right?
Due to shenanigans with his beeper.
By the way, those criminals ran through the airport at the beginning, and I was like, it's just not the same without that song. Like,
I know.
It's filmed at O'Hare and everything, but it's just not, like, real.
I ripped on the music, and, like, it's not terrible, but it's just
bad.
not. It's just not John Williams. There's certain parts where it's like, okay, this is
Well, and then they use, like, modern songs, or I think the Home Alone original movies only use, like, vintage.
Yeah, there are some, like, there is a god-awful.
Yes.
There is a god-awful song in this movie that is, like, during a major montage and then also in the end credits, and I was like, who the fuck wrote this terrible song? Who performed this terrible song? It comes up in the credits, and I shit you not, the artist name is Cartoon Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is that?
Did you find their album cover?
No.
I saved it on my phone. I have it ready to show
Jesus
you.
Christ.
That is how
I didn't want to look
horrible it
any
is.
further into Cartoon Boyfriend.
So far, of licensed music, we're going to go head to head here. What has worse licensed music? The Santa Claus sequels or this movie?
So far, I don't know.
Santa's got a hot rod.
I remember that, yeah. So this
the
song,
Santa Claus
My
ones are pretty
Town,
bad.
it's basically like, you're here in my town now, and I'm going to get you.
This is my town. Get the fuck out of my town. I don't want to be. That's pretty much how it goes, right?
I wrote down, like, is this a simple plan or something?
It's like that.
It's like that, yeah.
Anyway, so their debut album, Cartoon Boyfriend, was called Nipples. And this is the album cover, okay? Can one of you please describe what you're seeing right now?
It is three men on, not a tandem bicycle, but
Three men? It looks like three teenagers.
Three teenagers on a bicycle built for one, all butt naked, shoving their asses into the crotches of the man behind them.
The one guy looks like he's...
It looks like a human centipede, but more fun.
The one guy in the front looks like he's having a hard time. The guy in the middle, having a fucking blast. The guy in the back, looking straight at the camera.
Like he knows what's up. Yeah.
It's like,
And there's a cartoon sky behind them.
You
Yeah.
thought there'd be nipples on this cover, but there's
great.
not.
It's not great. And the first song on the album is entitled Two Hicks and an Immigrant.
Kind Come on.
I couldn't actually find that song, but anyways, yeah. So
You tried to listen to it? Oh
I
my God.
well, because I was like, are they being tongue in cheek? Like I don't. Yeah. Anyway, but
doubt it.
that song is horrible.
I mean, the album cover, they have the cheek part down.
This is my town.
Yeah. There's also like a Jamie Foxx.
a wall.
There's a Jamie Foxx song like on
Oh,
the
yeah.
TV, and then it's.
I love that because it shows the video for a second and it pauses on like where it says Jamie Foxx is the experiment or whatever. So it's like product placement.
I didn't
up
even
the
know that he
wazoo.
was like putting out music. Is it not that Jamie Foxx?
No, it is that Jamie
Yeah,
Foxx.
like I didn't know he put out like albums and stuff.
Oh yeah.
back then.
It's Jamie Foxx with 2 X's.
Well, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, anyways.
he was
this-
definitely trying to be a pop star
Yeah.
for a bit.
Oh, I don't remember.
Or an R&B star.
Somebody has a Palm Pilot in the beginning of this movie.
there is.
And they take a picture with a glove camera that immediately transfers to their Palm Pilot.
Which is dope. There's also some amazing future technologies with some analog features in this movie because there's the wireless transfer of this wrist camera photo to his Palm Pilot, and there is a live stream from a high 8 video recorder that's duct taped to a RC car that our young gentleman is spying on these criminals with the RC car from across the block, and it is live streaming to his tube TV.
I thought that was kind of a fun sequence.
But that's two different wireless
It
things
is
that would not work.
It is a fun sequence that totally works with today's technology that was completely impossible back then.
Like, we've all been there with the RC car when you're like, I'm going to drive it into the street or the sidewalk and see how far it can go. And it gets like one house away and then stops. Okay, like...
That's true. It gets across the room, man.
There's a part, there's a part during that sequence where he's like, "Oh no, it's getting out of range," and then it stops, and then he like just makes it go again randomly.
Yeah.
But the camera wouldn't even have any wireless technology at that
No.
point. So
No, no.
it's just crazy.
It was recording to a tape.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Boy.
So, yeah, the parents, he gets chickenpox, and the parents leave him alone because they have
Because they hate him.
They don't hate him.
And rather than asking the old lady across the street to babysit, they're just like, well, call her if there's a really horrible emergency.
Yeah. And he's like a creepy Rear Window type kid.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's
basically
like,
trying to be Rear Window for kids.
yeah, he's like looking out at all the houses with his telescope all day, like a real
And it's
creep.
like, and you can tell that they tried to grow him genetically from some of Jimmy Stewart's dead skin cells. Because he's not quite a human child.
We're talking about Alex D. Linz, star of Home Alone 3.
I don't know, like,
And that's it.
no, he's Max Keeble.
Yeah, sure.
Who's that?
Max Keeble's Big Move. It was like a really popular
I
movie
thought he
around
was
that
like
time.
the
Yeah.
boy Keebler elf.
I've
No.
never seen that movie.
Oh, you never heard of it? And
What's his
he
big-
was also the main kid in...
You only know it because it's a Disney movie.
No, I've never seen it. I
What's
just
his big
know the
move? Is
marketing.
it a chess movie?
No, he moves like to a new neighborhood.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's in all sorts of hilarious movies.
There's like a Full Court Miracle, which is like the where a black guy is trying to do community service or something, and so he like has to coach a Jewish boys basketball team, and like on Hanukkah, like the scoreboard keeps losing power so that they can elongate the game and win. This is a Disney Channel original movie, guys.
you guys
fucking
No, I'm 100% serious.
I'm looking at the poster for this movie, and it's a poster of him like jumping through the air with the ball, and it's called Full Court Miracle. So that makes me think that like he's some kind of kid who can jump across the entire court. And
No, it's just
score.
the whole thing is that they're Jewish and they're bad at basketball. And so this black coach comes to teach them how to be good at basketball.
Everything about this premise is problematic.
Yeah, it for real is. That one, I actually have seen that one. But yeah, it's like a Hanukkah movie because it's a Hanukkah basketball movie because there's this thing where
Hanukkah
the game
basketball
keeps
movie?
going because the lights keep going out, you know? Like,
Oh my god.
That's ridiculous, man. But he is no Macaulay Culkin.
he's
let's
not,
say
but
that.
he's not the worst either.
No.
He's definitely not the worst part of this movie. Like, if you're doing like analogies, like, you know, Macaulay Culkin to Alex Linz is not nearly as horrible as Stern and Joe Pesci to these four
right. Sure.
fucking awful.
I would
They're so bad.
I would definitely say that, the criminals are the weakest link in this movie.
The lady, I was just looking at her IMDb, who plays Alice Ribbons, which is a dumb name. She has played a generic bad Eastern European bad guy in every television show you've ever seen.
Yeah, she's kind of like a poor man's Mila Jovovich or a poor man's Missy Pyle or something like that. Like it's just.
Does that make Paul W.S. Anderson a rich man? Because I don't know.
Compared to this lady, I don't know.
I mean, I guess empirically, yes.
It's
He has a
because
lot of money.
every criminal in this movie looked like a poor man's some other actor.
Sure.
Like I was like, okay, the main guy's like a poor man's Dougray Scott or whatever, and then the other guy, the guy from Twin Peaks, the orchid guy, he's the poor man's Dylan McDermott.
Yep.
And then like the doofy guy is like a kind of a poor man's Jason Schwartzman, and then you got like the lady. But
It's
they're
just like
so bad.
I wouldn't say that like Harry and Marv are like the most extremely developed, characters.
No.
But there's only two of them, so you're inherently spending more time with just these two people instead of like splitting those kind of thin characters now into four people in this movie where they're like they get so little screen time so that they're just basically like a catchphrase or something.
Yeah,
Or the
and
one
it's-
guy's sassy and the other guy is obsessed with his hair.
The thing too is with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, like they're better actors, so I believed that they were in pain, or at least you could tell that they were acting like they were in real pain. Where these people are always just like, "Ow, ah," like you or I could pretend to be in pain better than these people.
And the stunt work is
Awful.
Is way, way, way worse in this movie.
There's a part I don't remember what's happening, but one of the criminals like steps in front of someone while like something's coming out their head, and he's like, "Hey, what are you?"
Yeah,
It's like whoa.
It's like Roadrunner Coyote type sound effects every time these people like get hurt. They're like,
Which, to be fair, is in those other movies. Like there is like Looney Tune sound effects. To the violence.
Yeah, Joe Pesci like going Ricka, fricka, ricka, that
Well,
kind of
not
thing.
even. I mean,
no,
like,
but there is, like we talked about how
like, whoop,
when
they
they
slide
showed
with
the
rails and
skeleton,
shit.
for some reason we thought that was cool, but everything these people do is bad.
because it was out of place. Like it was them kind of. I think that to get back what you're saying, get back to what you were saying previously, like it's so convoluted about how these people even get to this kid's house. Is like this movie spends the first, I don't know, 40%, like them just trying to figure out which house this car's at.
Well, yeah.
Well, and their plan to do it is stupid. Like Harry and Marv executed things poorly, but the nugget of a plan was a decent idea. People are gone, let's rob their houses. Oh, there's all this money in the store overnight, let's take it. But these people are like, we gotta find the car, so let's like, case the entire neighborhood. Like
there's also something I think that's actually like an inherently clever thing to those screenplays where they're not targeting the McAllisters. They're not targeting Kevin. It is just that there's bad forces out there, and he's a child, and because his parents are away, he is now exposed to them. Like that is that the world is now coming for him.
Yeah,
and that is something that I think that is again gets to the core relatability that Hughes brings to these movies, and in this, it is a MacGuffin that is arbitrary. It's a dart thrown, and that's why they're trying to get it. And the weirdest choice that they make is that before like they even meet, like he's done his rear window thing. The kid, what's the kid's name in this movie?
Alex.
Alex.
His real
Alex
name.
Pruitt.
Yeah.
Alex is has done his rear window thing, discovers the chip, has called the cops. And called the Air Force, knowing that this is I have a weapons chip that they know has been stolen.
Yep.
And then the movie proceeds as if that has not happened.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is that like they don't believe him or
Right.
whatever. Nobody believes him. Yeah. So
Well, so like I get that like they probably started off this process of this movie being like, you know what sounds like a cool idea? What if it's a kid versus like trained, like, basically like assassin criminal types, like a criminal, like a whole criminal faction or whatever. And I get that like that is interesting, but I think they made a critical misstep in this movie where like the beginning of the movie, like we said, starts in Hong Kong, and it follows the criminals for like the first 15 minutes or so before we're even introduced to Alex or the Pruitts. And like the entire movie in general, I feel like throws out the idea of like the first two movies are so much about family and like missing your family, being with your family, and how important family is. And it's like the emotional core of the movie, those two movies. Yeah, this one, it's like totally just like, wouldn't it be funny to see smarter criminals against the kid?
And they're not smarter.
No, they just have more technology.
Like part of the charm, and like I think something that kind of works in the second movie is that they want to kill him. They're just too dumb.
Yeah.
They're just too dumb to kill a child. Like they can't physically manage it. And like these are trained assassins.
They still can't kill a kid?
They still can't kill a kid.
I mean, when are we going to see a kid die in one of these movies?
Yeah.
Also, they kidnapped somebody's dog for several days for no reason.
Yeah.
There is a really funny scene where like, so the whole time during these like scenes where they're like checking out the different houses, there's two of the criminals are like out walking that dog or out with a fake baby.
All trying to pretend like that they live in this neighborhood where it's like in a small Illinois neighborhood, you know your fucking neighbors.
Exactly. And that's why the kid like knows.
They even
it's him.
specifically say the whole reason we can do this is because there's only like 8 houses and it's a cul-de-sac, so there's only one way in and one way out or whatever.
Right.
But like they knew that the old lady had the bag, so why not just figure out which house has an old lady and start from there instead of going house to house and examining every single one?
Yeah.
There's also a problem here about how he's being held home alone is that he has 2 older siblings. That
He does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they even in the movie at all?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Is one of them Scarlett Johansson?
One of them is Scarlett Johansson.
Are they like totally throwaway and barely seem part of the family at all?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
Interesting.
almost like if there was a kid who had to be held home alone like this, and there was 2 siblings, that they would have to cancel whatever the fuck they're up to to stay and take care of their little brother.
Or stay home from school too or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like that's the thing that would happen.
Was
Or if it was, they get out of school at like 2.
Yeah. Their characters are just there to be like, God, Alex, you're dumb for like 2 scenes, and that's about
It's like
it.
this kid can't have 2 pets, so he has to have an older brother that also has an annoying bird.
Yeah, and then at the end they're like, wow, Alex, you're awesome. And that's the extent of his family.
Yeah, it's like it's his dad who can't catch a fucking flight, and then and then his rent siblings. Like then they have to go back to the store with a washing machine.
It was just like
I just think that these parents, the whole family is bad. The parents are bad. Like it's all bad.
yeah, there's no sense that you have no feeling that they're an actual family. Like I think the mom is actually okay in this movie.
I think she is too.
But she's still like miles behind Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah. But I wasn't like, oh god, she's a terrible mom.
No, I don't think she was making the wrong choices, other than like making your kids take care of your kids.
Yeah. I don't know.
I was like, what does he have? Like fucking lacrosse practice? Like cancel that shit.
Not that kid. Not
Yeah.
that kid.
He's going smashing fluorescent light bulbs.
Yeah,
before
he's
Rite
like
Aid,
he's like giving kids wedgies in school and
Yeah.
stuff. That's the kind of kid that kid is.
I'm glad you said wedgies.
What did you think I was gonna say? What would I have said?
Yeah, so basically it gets lined up where they're gonna try to come into the house after way too long of a setup.
To the awesome song, "This Is My Town." You know what I love though about this like end setup is that the kid like sets up all the traps while everyone's still home.
Yes, that is funny. Like,
And there's
everyone's
a-
still asleep, and
Yeah.
so like he's setting up like all of these traps.
And there's a scene when his mom is like trying to leave in the morning, and she's like, "I need to get my jacket," but he's set up one of the traps in that door, and he's like, "Oh God, don't!" Which I thought was kind of like a fun. The other one, it's like, you know, the parents aren't even anywhere near. They're in a different city or something. You know?
No, it is kind of fun, except where it's like these are trained killers, and his mom, like at one point, she calls and she's like, "I'm just gonna come home. Like I missed you. Like I got off early. Like I can come take care of you." And he's like, "No, don't do that. Like I'm dealing with some ruthless
Yeah,
killers."
because he doesn't believe that the cops will help him, so he's like, I had to take things into my own
because
hands.
he cries. The cops think he cries wolf twice,
Yeah.
which.
Neil Flynn comes in and goes like, "Hey man, don't
Yeah.
fuck with the police.
I'm gonna be a janitor soon.
yeah." And then I'm gonna have my own hit show that runs for a long time.
time.
The middle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and be the dad of Mean Girls.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forget about that one. He's great. He's great.
The traps, like, they're so deadly. Like, I know we said before that so many of the traps would have killed Harry and Marv, but this time even they're worse. And this kid does like trapception, like where he has traps on traps on traps. Like he sets up traps and then he sets up another trap in case they are able to foil the first trap.
Yeah.
He sets up a backup trap and then he sets up traps that reset for the second criminal to come through. There was traps that reset themselves.
I liked that. With that, the one you're talking about in the beginning with the dumbbell at the top or whatever. I like that they stop the dumbbell from falling and then like a bookshelf thing falls on them or a chest full of books. But then like that dumbbell still falls on them. Like they fixed it, but then it still goes. That's like, triple trapception.
Part of his trap is a thing that just would not play anymore, and it was him spray painting a toy gun to look like a real gun.
Oof, yeah, that was messed up.
They were just like no.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I did like when he picked up the real gun and was like, ugh, and he just like threw it in the trash. I was like, that's great, because the kid now would probably like just be like, oh great, now I'm
a god.
Yeah. But he was just like, ugh, I don't want this, and he just tossed it. Like,
I didn't think that the traps were like horrible, but yeah, they are definitely more deadly.
There's a running lawnmower that is dropped on a man's head.
Yes. Oh my god, that guy would have been dead.
And he gets a little haircut. And remember, because this is the guy whose only defining personality is that he gives a shit about his hair. Mm-hmm. And so a running lawnmower gets strapped on his fucking head.
And they're like,
and it cuts a little bit off the top.
Yeah, it looked like his face would have been gone.
Yes, he would have no face.
They do the whole like thing like where Marv is like looking up and it's coming down at him.
It's so bad. I just think the traps were so, like, even the setup of the traps is so dependent on the criminals like doing certain stuff.
Right.
Like, and it's just like, I don't know. And also the fact that he was watching them the whole time through cameras. Like, there was a lot of stuff that he had to do throughout to set off the traps at certain times and things like that. Whereas, like, I think before it was always like, okay, we have all the setup, and then like Macaulay Culkin did some
He was
things.
running around a bit like that
he
too,
threw the bricks or whatever, but it definitely wasn't like, I'm gonna sit up here in my eagle's nest and like, you know, puppet master this shit.
Yeah, but he just didn't have that can-do attitude that was coached into him by his basketball coach at the Jewish summer camp.
Right.
I believe it was a Jewish private school, not a summer camp.
A Jewish private school.
I think my favorite of the traps is the one where we already talked about how he has an in-ground swimming pool and a trampoline in his backyard, and the snow has covered the ground, right? So he moves the like handles that you would use to like get into the swimming pool,
which you'd have to break.
Yeah, okay, like it makes no sense, but I like that he moves them to the other side of the yard, so it makes it look like the pool is where it isn't,
right?
And then puts the trampoline over the pool, and the criminals try to get off the roof by jumping on the trampoline and go straight through and into like frozen pool, which I thought was really fun. But I didn't like the pun at the end when the cops show up and go freeze, and they're like, really? That I didn't like. Stop it. Stop
when the lady like falls down the dumbwaiter, and then when the cops take her away,
oh my
god,
God,
her body is like contortion.
That
like,
was so gross.
Like, this is so stupid.
I kept looking at it like, ugh, how is she alive?
And also, this lady, there's a whole scene where the evil lady ties up the old lady across the street and is like getting sexual gratification from it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, she all of a sudden starts getting like really sexy with the old lady and being like, I'm gonna tape you up now, you know? And it's just like, what the hell? Like, it was so
And then Alex
weird.
is having to save her.
Yeah.
Like, she's tied up for like days.
No,
it was not days.
It's a few hours, but the evil
she's tied up for days.
The evil criminals purposely left the windows and the door open, and the lady does not have a jacket or anything, and it's fucking cold. So.
I did like that was like a moment that felt like a moment from the older films where he's like being really kind.
Yeah, I liked that moment. I think like that was one of the only relationships that semi worked was him with this old lady, and she's like a 6-time Tony Award winner. Like, yeah,
who they made say I left my bread and
yes. But I think her nice scene with the kid and when she was like practically dead, like I thought she did a good job.
But then you're like, she said that bread line, so no.
Yeah.
That's Marion Seldes we're talking about.
Yes.
She was great.
And I don't know. Do we want to say
You're
anything
like,
else
was
about?
she?
Oh, there's one. I missed how this even happens. But the one guy gets a hole in the crotch of his pants blown out, and it's like a 2-inch diameter circle.
Yeah.
And it's like, how low was the crotch of those
I
pants?
think it's from the electrocution.
Unless he
okay.
has a tailor that he's like, yeah, like I need you to really exaggerate that inseam.
I mean, it's like a complete tunnel in the crotch of the pants, and then the mouse climbs through it and is like hanging out in there. But it's like, I don't even know how that would work. Like,
and then he's like, "You hit me in me willy," or
yeah,
whatever.
he said, "You smashed my winky."
Oh, yeah.
because the lady hits him with the crowbar. You know,
Something
like,
stupid like that.
Oh yeah, we get it. We get a throwback to the crowbar
Yeah.
where a tarantula
Don't move, and then he
don't
hits
move
him.
the whole
yeah.
thing, but it's just a rat who's adorable throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, the rat was cool. I hated the bird.
The bird sucks.
The bird is dumb. It does too much talking. Also, I did.
It sets off one of the traps. Also,
Yeah, the part I liked about the bird was when it was sometimes an animatronic bird or a puppet. Like
Nope,
at the end
no
when
puppet.
it lights the match and then
Yeah.
it's like
yeah. Okay, so the thing about the
double
tarantula.
or nothing. Double or nothing.
The tarantula and the pigeons were live creatures, right? But they were just doing what tarantulas and pigeons would do anyway. Macaulay Culkin did not train the tarantula to climb onto Mars' face. It's just something that would happen.
In fact,
Yeah.
that movie does an extremely good job of hinting that the tarantula is just out and free the entire
Yes.
time and building up to that scene. That
Yeah.
it's plausible that it would be right there.
Yeah, at the end of this movie, the bird goes into one of the traps, sets off a match to set off the trap, and then escapes safely. And it's like, what the heck? And then the bird and the rat are driving the car at the end.
Yeah.
And the bird makes it seem like that he's going to let this killer go if he had a second crack. He's like, I'm capable of rational thought and setting off a trap and explosive devices. But if you have one more saltine, I will betray everyone
He's
I
like,
love.
go on. Oh, you only got one? Die. Boom, boom. That's the part where it's like, that's the part where it's clearly a puppet holding a match, lighting the thing on fire. And I just thought that looked hilarious.
So yeah, instead of a talk boy, we get an annoying parrot.
The talk boy is replaced by, I think, the
video camera.
the mutator car. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lots of things.
Also, I remember that mutator.
Oh, was that a real toy?
Yeah, because the thing was that it was like low to the ground and it would mutate to be like a higher up thing. And he does that once in the movie.
I had the one I thought when I first saw it, I thought it was the one that had like the cobra that popped up that shot water.
Yeah.
I had that one.
I
That
just
one was
remember these
awesome.
things in the Toys R Us ads, like
Yeah, yeah.
endlessly. And I was
Which
like,
I still get mailed, and thank you Toys R Us because I like looking through those.
You still get them even though they don't
Toys R Us
exist?
went out of business.
I got one last year.
Who's sending you Toys R Us?
Oh my god!
Newsletters.
It's the ghost of Jeffrey.
Guys, Jeffrey is my prison pen pal.
I'm still getting Toys R Us ads to this day.
That'd be the best haunting ever.
You're like, didn't you guys get the Black Friday Toys R Us ad?
It was a Target one. I remember now.
Oh, yeah.
But it made me think of the Toys R Us one.
You just don't want to grow up.
I don't.
I mean, who does? The world is scary right now.
Million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
We don't need a slam poetry version of Toys R Us.
We just did it. Deal.
For bikes, trains, and video games. It's the biggest toy store there is.
I'm clapping for you.
Gee whiz.
Wow, I really felt the capitalism behind that commercialization of toys.
There's also a lot of product placement for Mega Bloks.
Oh, yeah.
Do you love not Legos? Try Mega Bloks.
That trap was terrifying to me because I was thinking of like, but I would just like fall into the splits and die.
In a lot of ways, this is the Mega Bloks version of Home Alone.
Oh,
true.
Yikes.
And of course, because this lady is vaguely Eastern European, she can do gymnastics.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so there's a part where she does like 5 flips to go onto a porch as if it were a pommel horse, and then because to jump over the stairs ostensibly. But in case she jumps over the stairs, he set up a backup trap where the sides of the stairs will fall over if she puts her weight on them.
Yeah, also, like, there's a part where, like, the boards of the, like, deck or something have been, like, loosened so that they'll flip around. I'm like, how did he do that?
This kid fucked up this house.
The boards flip around and the first person falls, and then the boards perfectly go back into
I was
place
like,
so
bullshit.
the next guy can come walk.
I hope his dad can work a hammer better than he can work his beeper, because, fuck, he has some work to do.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So at the end, when he finally reunites with his mom, this just fell so flat to me. Like, compared to all the great times when Macaulay Culkin would reunite with Catherine O'Hara, it was just like, ugh, I just didn't care. I was like, who the fuck cares about this mom?
But he
like,
maintains the lie. Like,
yeah, I think this one's harder because the entire time of the movie, you're like, the kid is right if these fucking adults would just listen to this kid, like he's telling the truth. And then there's none of that through, Home Alone 1 or 2, where you're like, Macaulay Culkin's trying to tell the dumb adults what's really going on.
Again, I think that there's something that is very strong and useful about the first two, of that Marv and Joe Pesci are like just agents of evil of the world. Like, the world's out there, and like they're not necessarily obstacles to him getting back to his family. There's things that while they're apart, it is obstacles that he has to overcome while he's still trying to get to his family. It's like it is like that the world is dark and evil when they're separated. He's subjugated to those terrors, and he has to get through them. And then when he does, there's that catharsis of reunion and being like, I'm safe now. Like there is no bad guys that are going to come when you're here and you're with me. And this movie doesn't do that.
no, like the bad guys can come get you at any time.
Yeah.
So the parents were completely useless.
Yeah, it's just like adults are dumb.
Yeah. And everyone's dumb.
Yeah,
basically.
so by the
North
time...
Korean terrorists are dumb.
Yeah, so by the time she comes and goes, oh my God, I'm so happy you're alive, then you're just like, you don't fucking care about this kid.
You were asleep while he was taking nails out of the deck.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, all that goodwill is just, like, lost by the end, and you're like, okay, whatever. These criminals are dumb. They all get chicken pox at the end.
And then there's a scene, too, where the principal has called the mom and the 2 other siblings to the office with the FBI guy from the Air Force or whatever, and the guy, like, won't tell them what's going on. And for some reason, the sister, who's, Scarlett Johansson, just takes it upon herself to, like, slam the door and threaten the FBI guy. It's like, that's my brother, you better tell us. It falls so stupidly flat.
Yeah. You know how you threaten the FBI.
Well, and it's like she doesn't care what's going on with him.
That's why I was like,
and
did he have siblings?
Like, yeah. Oh God. Should we just do the child star check-in?
I'm ready for it.
So the sister, who knows who she is? I don't think she ever acted again.
It's not. You know what? She might have learned gymnastics from an Eastern European bad villain.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh man, but no, actually, this was like her first major film role. So good for her. The brother, Seth Smith, he was about already in high school when this movie was made. He went to BYU Hawaii on a scholarship from SAG, and also BYU because they basically pay Mormon people to go to BYU Hawaii. But he's married to Roxana, who is from Italy, and they have 3 kids. He was recently promoted to the director of operations at Brainstorm, which makes the quick help platform for Microsoft, I guess.
Oh God.
Huh.
He lives in Provo, so he's, yeah.
So, but what about the fake baby in the stroller? What happened to that?
It went on to star in American Sniper.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
But also Alex D. Linz, like we already said, he went on to be Max Keeble's Big Move and the what was it called? Full Court Miracle. Yeah, he also did the Disney Channel movie with the Jane Goodall-esque where he's like talks to a monkey or whatever.
Dustin checks in.
No.
I don't remember the name of it.
No.
But anyways, he got his he got his bachelor's from UC Berkeley, and then he's currently working or recently finished his master's in urban and regional planning at UCLA, and he is part of the University of California's carbon neutrality initiative.
Is urban planning placing traps?
I hope so. He
That would be
basically-
amazing.
I read his proposal. Him and his partner wrote this long proposal about how UCLA is going to go to complete carbon neutrality.
Sure.
Um,
But moving out of Westwood is the
Yeah.
first step there.
The
Yeah.
first step
Well,
is to
and
get rid of
also-
lots of people using traps.
his point was that like it's going to be really difficult for UCLA even compared to all the other UC schools because
Right.
they have the hospital.
Yes.
And like it's going to be really difficult. Anyway, but he's working
Not
on
if he sets the right trap.
Yeah. He's like a scientist. He works on global climate change. Like
He also was the voice of young Tarzan.
He was. Yes. He'll be in your heart. Okay.
Aww.
So yeah, he's like a real scientist. So that's kind of cool. That's one of the
That's pretty
more
crazy.
successful child star check-ins, I think.
Yeah, well, as we mentioned before, this was the last of the Home Alone movies to be in theaters.
Yeah.
Because it only made $79 million worldwide,
Ooh.
which is lower
What
than
was the
like
budget?
the domestic total. Let's see if it's
That's not good in today's money.
Oh, also, if you listened last week to our interview with Terry Snell, we talked a little bit about Ebert's response to Home Alone, and I guess this one, Ebert said he liked it better than the first two, and he found the violence less violent and with more of a soft touch, and he said he liked this better than the other
What?
two. And apparently Siskel nearly fell out of his chair when Ebert said that.
That dude's lost his mind.
Yeah.
He could have.
Which I love Ebert, but wow, that comes out of
Sometimes he was just drunk.
yeah, could be.
Yikes!
I saw that documentary.
Yeah. This film was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award
And it lost
to
to Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah.
ooh, which
Worst sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Maybe
is
one of the
hilarious.
best named sequels, though, because it hits you on multiple stoner levels.
That is a classic.
It is the
Bad
Taco
sequel
Bell
names.
menu item of sequel subtitles.
Oh God, that one's a good one. Well, do you want to do the rating for this one?
Oh boy. You want to go?
You got this. You got this.
How many forgotten loaves of bread in San Francisco would you give Home Alone 3? I left my bread in San Francisco.
I think I left about 4 pieces of bread in San Francisco. I thought this one was bad, but like I actually honestly thought it could have been worse.
Oh my god.
Like I honestly I have a feeling
like 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I feel like this one still feels to me like a theatrical film, and I have a feeling, I haven't seen the other ones, but I have a feeling that the next ones are going to just drop off a cliff even further. So I'm like I'm preparing myself for that by saying like this one was bad but not like the worst movie of all time. Like it was a good try, but just didn't do it for me.
You didn't see this and you're like, give this man a Scooby-Doo.
No. I was like, give this man a Never Been Kissed was his next movie. No, I'm just like,
Yeah, well, that one was okay, but anyway.
no, I just, the next one, spoiler alert, is a made-for-TV movie. So I was like having that in my mind a little bit, where I was like, this feels like there's actually some budget behind it for like a theatrical release. And I think that kind of helped me through the badness of it. 4 out of 10.
This movie, I found it to be aggressively bad. In my notes, I literally just wrote like fake all across the top because I was so annoyed by how crappy everything looked. And I feel like even though John Hughes and the editor guy who is now the director like worked on it. It's so bad that it almost feels like they had a level of disdain for their previous work. Like, and that they were just at this point, like, you know, like the gif of Homer Simpson falling into the ground and flipping everybody off, you know, like I feel like they were just like, bye, you know, and like just saying like, screw this.
Or just saying like, never make another one of these again. Like the first two were what we wanted them to be.
I guess
like,
so.
And like,
Yeah.
let's just bury it.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that is what I'll say. So I'll give it 2 loaves of bread left in San Francisco. And
Man, you guys, I feel like the next ones are going to be so bad, but I don't know.
I don't know. I want to have hope for it because at least it'll be new people.
I don't judge the amount of bread that I left on a relative scale.
Okay.
And to me, there's only 3 of these movies. I still don't believe there's a 4th, and we'll see if there is. Yeah, I think that this is really bad. It's like all the magic is squeezed out, and if you want to continue the squeezing analogy, then they use this sponge to clean up like 5 different ideas that they had and just scrubbed it all up and then just threw that onto a page. It's like this screenplay was written by 3 dogs in a human suit. Like it's like this is what human does, right? So misses the mark in terms of what makes these movies enjoyable and what people like about them. It does. I kind of agree with Eliz that it does seem like it's almost a cynical leaning into of like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You like this shit? Like, all right, well, like, here you go. That being said, I left 3 loaves of bread in San Francisco.
I am just like, I can't wait until we get to the next movies and you guys maybe are like,
We don't know.
Are going to be like, bring back Home Alone 3.
Because barely anyone's seen them, so we really don't. We haven't heard anything good or bad. Just that people didn't know that they exist.
I think that you're right, but I can't rate the movies that way.
That's fine. I'm
can't.
just saying you might reconsider.
One
in the
thing
future.
that I saw in the ever so accurate IMDb trivias was that originally like they were going to film the 2 of them together, like you said, but Macaulay Culkin was like, I don't want to. There's nothing else I can do with this character. I don't want to do it. And so then they were like, all right,
Could have done heroin.
Yeah. And so then I guess the plan B at some point was like, let's get Kieran and make him the main character. We'll bring back Aunt Leslie and Uncle Frank and they'll be the parents and blah, blah, blah. I wish we had asked Terry Snell if that was actually true, but who knows. And so I guess Kieran literally said, like, I don't want to follow my brother's performance. Like, I don't want to try and live up to it. And so I don't want to do it. And so then they're like, all right. And then they came up with this piece of crap.
And then he had a career.
Yeah.
So good call.
As the tagline on the poster says, ready for more, much more. Because there's another movie after this. There's another 2, Tyler.
So does the next one have a subtitle?
The next one, made for television sequel in 2002, Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. So, I mean, I'm glad they're finally getting the house back.
Oh, God. So they're like,
it's a blue
You're
wave.
already regretting your Home Alone 3 hatred.
We're going to take back the house in the midterms.
Yeah.
2002 is a weird time for a movie.
Bringing down the house with Steve Martin and Queen Latifah. That was a movie, right?
This
That was
director,
around the same time.
Did this director also do Big Mama's House?
He
I think
did
that was
the
one of the
first one,
ones,
yeah.
that I remember seeing.
I mostly know him from the Scooby-Doo movies.
Okay.
Which there's 2 of those. There's actually more than 2
I don't know
of those.
anything about
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
But anyways, yeah, next week, Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. Has anyone seen this one?
Nope.
I don't even know anything about his existence.
I know one person that's in it, and that's
It's again, 2002 is a weird time for a movie. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think.
Why do you think they got to take the house back?
I think 9/11 happens, and they're just like, we just need some feel-good, fun movies.
I think,
Let's
like-
bring back that nostalgia and that comfort.
Well, hopefully they don't bring back the terrorism side plot.
Yeah.
I think that the house is in foreclosure, and they've got to take it back. No, I'm kidding.
No, 2002 business was booming.
That's true.
Not 2002 really, but like
The family's having financial issues, and
Yeah.
they literally need to buy back the house. Even the kids are working
all
two
of our
jobs.
AOL stock tanked.
Yeah.
We lost it.
There's going to be cell phones in this one?
Probably cell phones.
That's true.
There's gonna be a scene of somebody playing Snake.
Oh, my God. Technology in movies is so funny.
I love when you
Beat
go
me
back,
if there's any problems.
when you go back to like the James Bond movies where like Pierce Brosnan has to steal a floppy disk is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think, I think that's about all we got to say about that.
Well, we'll see if Alice Ribbon shows up in this next one.
I think Sally Yarn is in this next one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
Ribbon.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you guys.
No, I got it. I reacted appropriately.
Eliz didn't get it.
It's because I just think of craft supplies as like craft supplies, like I didn't think about it as
Tina
like
Craft Supplies is
words,
going to be in the next
like words that were punny. Like I'm just like, what? Anyway, so if you want to
I heard all the
actually
listeners
hear
laugh. They totally laughed, you guys. I swear it was funny.
something about actual good movies, go back to last week and listen to our awesome interview with Terry Snell, who was Aunt Leslie in the first two movies. That was so fun and good. So do that. And then email us your suggestions for future franchises. sequelrights@gmail.com. We need to know what you want to hear about in the new year. And then find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review and tell us how you trap us. What trap would you set for us?
I know you could trap Tyler with some chicken.
Trap chicken.
Trap chicken shout out.
Yeah, trap chicken's delicious.
And
A convoluted trap, or leave us a fun Home Alone 2 themed Florida burn.
oh, yes. And I got to thank my brother for the fun holiday style theme at the top of the show these couple weeks here. It's been great keeping us in the
Merry
holiday
Christmas,
spirit.
you filthy animal, Jordan.
That's right. So next week we're gonna take back the house with some other random kid in Home Alone 4.
I'm just gonna watch the Will Ferrell movie, The House. Is that gonna be okay?
Yeah, only if they
What's the over-under on whether or not the kid's white?
100% white. Yeah,
It's the
I don't want to make.
It's the Wonder Bread quotient.
I can't. Yeah, I'm thinking of so many terrible jokes.
We need to end the episode.
I can't
End
do
this
it.
episode.
Home Alone 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 kids being left home alone
no.
next week.
This is my town. Watch your step if you come around.